brought to you by Gamevo.com. Get the cheapest game time on the market, as well as other Warcraft products. Check out the link in the description below. A place where all the characters that we have ever known go to. The afterlife of Warcraft. Now, as the link has been broken, we'll be visiting prematurely and almost certainly we'll be seeing some of the figures that we have seen before. So today, I will be giving you top 10 villains we hope to see in the Shadowlands. As characters like Arthas or Kael'Thas are already confirmed, I'll be covering the other ones, some lesser known ones and some of the more iconic ones. So without further ado, let's get into the lore. Number 10. Darkendra. A very significant character, yet not widely known. This guy is probably the greatest traitor in the history of Azeroth, and I doubt there is anyone out there that doesn't consider him a villain. He single-handedly was the most responsible for the death of like 90% of all High Elves and the catastrophe that Arthas had unleashed onto Kael'Thas. While, of course, it was the Scourge that invaded, Darkan assassinated key figures, which, might I add, he actually enjoyed it, and he allowed the undead army to go past the Elven defenses, which were almost impenetrable at the time. He was so bad that he attempted to betray Arthas, but was then killed 3 times, ultimately serving the Scourge and then being defeated once again. While there is a case for Revendreth, as he had an incredible ego and ambition, I have no doubt that he was sent directly to the Maw, the realm for the irredeemable souls. Number 9. Garrosh. The fabled Grand Marshal, known for his racism and hatred for the elves, notable for quotes such as
"The only good non-human is a dead non-human,"
and the even more famous
"The lesser races must be purged from the kingdom."
Despite all of that, he was a troubled character. No one could doubt his patriotism, as he was put in a hopeless situation, fighting dreadlords and the Scourge on one side, the demons, his soldiers turning into zombies, and ultimately him being betrayed by Sylvanas. Despite his terrible treatment of the elves, he really wasn't that evil of a character, so I can see him being sent to the Purgatory, Revendreth. He lost his family in the Orcish War and he blamed the elves for it, further developing his perspective of human superiority, which can no doubt be attributed to pride. Despite being a relatively minor character, I could see him making an appearance, as Sylvanas will be the central character of the expansion, and his story is closely tied to that of the Banshee Queen. Number 8. Edwin Vancleef. Originally just a stonemason and rogue, Edwin went from an architect rebuilding Stormwind to leading a criminal organization building a massive warship bent on destroying Stormwind. While he wasn't initially a villain, you could even say he was a good guy, he definitely turned into one by harassing, looting, and killing innocents, as well as, well, trying to bomb a city with a population of millions full of civilians. Ultimately, he was killed when his base operations was raided and his head was chopped off. While his legacy remained and he died before the Machine of Death broke, he was most certainly sent to the Shadowlands, which realm is uncertain, but I doubt he would be sent to the Maw, as he wasn't exactly that bad. He didn't commit terrible atrocities, he wasn't warlike, full Maldraxxus, so I see him as a perfect candidate for Revendreth. It was most definitely his pride and ego that led to him not trying to back down and not seeking a compromise. Number 7. Headless Blackmoor. One of the original villains of the Warcraft series. As the master of Dornhold Keep, this was the guy that took Thrall as a baby and had raised him. However, despite giving him everything, he had essentially enslaved him and just used him as a gladiator and overall treated him in a terrible manner. Ultimately, he died when Thrall freed the Horde and stormed Dornhold Keep, but not without first killing Thrall's friend Rhett of Foxton that had previously freed him. Headless was no doubt an evil and a sadistic character, but I wouldn't say he was irredeemable, that he would be sent to the Maw. I can see him most likely in Revendreth, where he would have a chance to make up for his crimes. Now, if Thrall plays a role in this expansion, the appearance of Blackmoor could totally be a possibility, as this could make an interesting questline, as Thrall had done so much, but his relationship with his adoptive father no doubt scarred him and probably haunts him up to this day. Number 6. Random Name Blackhand. Dalrent Blackhand, together with his brother Maim, were the sons of Warchief Blackhand and the leaders of the Blacktooth Grin clan. When Thrall decided to start a new page to create a peaceful faction and to focus on diplomacy, these guys decided to ally with the son of Deathwing Nefarian and to embrace the ideals of the Old Horde, meaning conquest, demonic bloodlust, and overall just chaos. In simple terms, they didn't really see anything bad with the Old Horde. For a while, they referred to themselves as the True Horde, and they were a serious thorn in the side of Warchief Thrall. Ultimately, both brothers were slain, and they haven't been significant in a while, but as iconic characters, I can see them making a small appearance within the Shadowlands. Even though they did commit terrible crimes, as they were warlike for their entire lives, I can see them appearing in Maldraxxus, where it is literally a free-for-all, and with their history, they could definitely be making a difference there. Number 5. Ner'zhul. One of the most influential orcs of all time. He was notable as a shaman and a chieftain of the Shadowmoon clan, but everyone really knows him as the very first Lich King. Ner'zhul was one of the initial orcs to be triggered by the Legion, and he would subsequently deceive the rest of the Horde. Later, he abandoned the orcs and tried to escape with his followers, literally causing the destruction of Draenor, creating Outland as we know it today. Then, he was captured by Kil'jaeden, turned into a Lich King, and was essentially behind the plague and most of the atrocities committed by Arthas. Now that both Arthas and the Lich King are gone, no doubt his soul is most likely within the Shadowlands. If he disappeared completely now, when the machine has been broken, he is most likely in the Maw, but regardless of the timing, I don't see Ner'zhul anywhere else than the Maw, with all the various crimes that he had committed. The guy literally destroyed an entire planet, helped corrupt an entire race, and unleashed those invasions, and helped orchestrate the scourge that committed all those terrible atrocities. Despite being manipulated through most of it, Ner'zhul is most definitely guilty. Number 4. Xavius. Lord Xavius used to be a highborn counselor to Queen Ashara, and not just any counselor, but one of the most powerful sorcerers in the entire world at the time. He was blindly loyal to the Queen, and when the Burning Legion invaded, he was on the front line. As he failed in his task, Sargeras punished him, torturing him and transforming him into a satyr, essentially creating the satyrs as a race. He would then turn other elves into this new demonic race, and it was not long after that Malfurion had transformed him into a tree, and he was sent to the bottom of the sea during the Sundering, yet he survived and he would return once again. 10,000 years later, he would begin corrupting the Emerald Dream, turning it into a nightmare, becoming known as the Nightmare Lord. Once again, he would be defeated, but he would return in Legion, now allied fully with the Old Gods, and, well, you guessed it, only to be defeated again. Now, it isn't certain if Xavius is actually completely dead, but many speculate that he is, which could mean that we will see him in the Shadowlands. Most definitely within the Maw, not only with the timing, but also as he tried to first ally with the Legion to conquer the world, then with the Old Gods, and throughout all of his existence, all he has been doing is just changing allegiances and trying to mess up the entire planet. With all of that in consideration, I don't see Xavius anywhere else other than the Maw. Number 3. Kelthuzad. Everyone knows Kelthuzad as a Lich, the right hand of Arthas, but there is just a moment in his history as for the most of his life he was actually a highly successful and powerful mage of Dalaran. He practiced the forbidden arts and was one of the first to turn to Ner'zhul, and was single-handedly responsible for most of the plague spread in Lordaeron. He organized a fake religion and got the downtrodden to follow him, while at the same time building connections with influential people to establish an infrastructure for the Scourge. Kelthuzad was later killed by Arthas, then resurrected as a Lich, and then he played an even more important role with his flying fortress Nexramas. Ultimately, he was defeated, but we all knew he wasn't dead as his phylactery was still around. Here is the thing though, there is a big theory going around that his soul is lost in the Shadowlands, and that while he may not be officially dead, he could access the realm of the dead in a similar way the Lich King once did. There is also a possibility that when the death machine broke, he was just sucked into the Maw as he was already lingering around. Without a doubt, a guy like Kelthuzad belongs in nothing less than the Maw, as he's completely redeemable, but if he got into the Shadowlands willingly, I can see him in Maldraxxus. This realm is the home to necromancers, and he is one of the original human ones, and as the Lich King used it to call upon the Scourge from here, he no doubt had connections to Maldraxxus before, as he was key in forming the Scourge. Due to his significance in the mysterious storyline, I definitely see Kelthuzad making an appearance within the Shadowlands. Number 2. Deathwing. The dragon that caused the Cataclysm, that entirely reshaped the world, and that nearly destroyed everything and unleashed the old gods upon us. It took so much effort and so many forces to be able to bring him down, as he was already defeated many times in the past. Deathwing is such a key figure, as he played a role in the War of the Ancients, the Orcish invasions, the invasion of Outland, and now in his very own event, the Cataclysm. Long ago, he used to be the leader of the Black Dragon fight and was known as Lieutenant the Earthwalker, but he was corrupted, and not long after, he had gone completely insane. All in all, he was a tragic character that wasn't necessarily evil, but was just driven mad. Still, with all the atrocities Deathwing had committed, I can't see him going to Revendreth to redeem himself due to just so much trouble he had caused us. However, it is possible that the jailer could see that most of it he didn't commit by his own free will, and that instead he used to be a noble dragon that was corrupted. He might then be cleansed and even brought to one of the good realms, although honestly with all his atrocities I do doubt that. Now, a dragon aspect in the Shadowlands might raise an eyebrow for a lot of people, but I don't see why he wouldn't be, as after all he was just an enhanced dragon that was native to Azeroth and not some Void Lord or some Titan-like figure. And lastly, number 1. Garrosh Hellscream. Originally only the son of Grommash and overall a tragic character, very few had expected that within a few short years of his discovery on Outland, he would arise as the leader of the Northern Expedition, and only a bit after he would become a war chief. Within the next few years, he would empower the Horde and turn it almost entirely towards war and military conquest. Unsurprisingly, Garrosh was actually successful in many regards and even wiped out Alliance hubs like Terramore, but of course in order to achieve this success, he had to utilize many quite immoral measures. From using a mana bomb to executions and terrible treatment of most world races, he just as quickly rose to be one of the biggest villains of the faction, which prompted the Civil War and the Siege of Orgrimmar. If all of that was not enough, he then created the entire mess with the Warlords of Draenor, which could not be forgiven, where he was finally defeated by Tron. Now, in regards to which realm he could be in, it is incredibly hard to say. My opinion is the Maw, as he really committed many atrocities, but at the same time he was warlike to the core, which would get him to Maldraxxus, and was as egotistical as you can get, which could get him to Revendreth. Still, with all the atrocities, I see the Maw as the most likely destination. Despite the realm, I can forgive him for most of his atrocities, but definitely not for the death of Cairn Bloodhoof. Thank you for watching. Check out who is the most powerful mage by clicking on the screen, and check out the second channel Doran's Academy for videos on real world history and science. See you next time.